Footballers begin to decline in their 30s, so it's usually not so surprising when people start to say that a player in his 30s is finished. But when you're still in your 20s and already bearing that tag, it's a big issue. Sadly, there are some players like that in today's game, and in this video, we'll be talking about them and how they found themselves here. These are 7 under 25 players who already look finished. Of course, we'll start with Ansu Fati. It's unfortunate what's happened to this kid. When he first came up as a 16-year-old from La Masia, he seemed absolutely unstoppable. He was breaking records all around, and he looked like he was going to lead Barcelona for years to come. I mean, he was so good that he finished second to Haaland at the 2020 Golden Boy Awards, and was given the prestigious Barcelona number 10 shirt as a teenager. But fast forward to the present, and he already seems done at the top level at 22 years of age. He has suffered way too many injuries since he broke through. When he seems like he might finally be regaining his form, he would hit another injury setback. That's been the story of his career over the past couple of years. These recurring injuries seem to have affected him both physically and psychologically, and you get a feeling that Barcelona will be looking for a way to cut him off this year. And you can't exactly blame them, because Ansu these days is just a shadow of his former self. And as much as it hurts us to say it, it looks like he might just be finished at the age of 22. Now, there's a former Barcelona man on this list. Can you guess who it is? We bet you can't, but feel free to take a shot at it in the comments and we'll see if you're right soon. But first, let's talk about Reece James. His quality is undeniable. On his day, he's arguably the best right back on the planet. He's awesome going forward, can create, score, beat a man, is versatile, and can actually defend. But injuries really don't want him to catch a break. For James, it's been one lengthy injury after the other since 2019. For real, since 2019, there hasn't been a year where he wasn't out for at least 40 days because of injury. Everybody keeps saying that if Reece James can manage to stay fit, he could maybe go down as the greatest right back in Premier League history. But at some point, we have to face it, he just might never be able to stay fit. Obviously, it's not his fault, but Reece James, who just turned 25 in December, might actually be finished. But not everyone on this list is here as a result of injuries. Like Anthony, for example. He doesn't have injury problems at all, but at the age of 24 years, he already looks like he's done at the top level. There isn't even much to say about the Brazilian, to be honest. You just have to watch him to know exactly what we're talking about. He cannot beat a man, cannot create, and has gone 9 months now without scoring a single goal in the Premier League. Mind you, before that, he completed a full year without scoring a single Premier League goal. Of course, there's all the talk about how his price tag affected him mentally, but this is his 3rd season at Man United, so that should no longer be an excuse. The fact is that the dude might actually be finished already. Another 24-year-old who already looks finished is Mykhailo Mudryk. He was so highly rated at Shakhtar, but since he moved to England, he's just not been able to hit those levels required of him. He has now played under 5 different managers at Chelsea, but the outcome has remained the same. So it really makes you come to the conclusion that he might be done at this level. And even if there is still some hope, the whole drama surrounding the failed drugs test might just dash those hopes. I mean, even if he's eventually proved innocent, this whole thing might affect him psychologically. Or Chelsea might have even moved on from him by the time he's cleared. And if they do, surely no top club is spending money on him. Honestly, it's just not looking very good for Mudryk in general. Now, remember we said that there's a former Barcelona player on this list. Did you guess Serginho Dest? If you did, then you're correct. Dest couldn't exactly hack it at Barcelona, so he was loaned out to Milan. He couldn't hack it there either, so he was loaned to PSV. Now, in the 2023-24 season, he looked like he was back to top form in the Netherlands. He was really important to the team and he helped them win the league. But then he tore his ACL in April and has been out ever since. It's pretty sad to say, but we don't think the 24-year-old Dutch-born American international will be able to return to his best form after that injury. Anyway, speaking of Americans, reminds us of Gio Reyna. When he broke through, it felt like he was the best thing since sliced bread. At 17, he became the youngest American to ever play in the Bundesliga, the youngest American to play and assist in the Champions League, and the 3rd youngest player to ever feature feature in a Champions League knockout game. He would also go on to become the youngest player to make 50 Bundesliga appearances. This kid was so good that Haaland nicknamed him the American Dream. He even finished in the top 10 of the Golden Boy Awards in 2021. But then you guys remember what happened at the 2022 World Cup, right? The USMNT head coach singled him out for lacking commitment and having a poor attitude, and even considered sending him home from Qatar mid-tournament. It led to a whole big thing involving Rainer's mother revealing damaging personal info about the coach to his superiors. Since that whole drama, things haven't been so great for him. He was loaned to Forest in January 2024, but between Dortmund and Nottingham Forest, Rainer didn't manage to score a single goal throughout the 23-24 season. This season he has scored just once and has struggled with a groin injury. Right now, the hype is dead, and it doesn't even seem like he'll be at Dortmund for much longer. Basically, what we're trying to say is that the 22-year-old English-born American forward might actually be finished already. Let's now wrap up with Evan Ferguson. Do you remember when this kid was said to be worth about £100 million? How quickly all that hype died, right? This kid is built like an absolute unit, no doubt, but it doesn't look like he'll be living up to his full potential. Heck, even Brighton seem to have given up on him. And it's not just because of injuries. He's been available for 14 Premier League games this season, but he's only started 2. He has only scored 1 goal across all competitions this season, and he now looks like he's behind Welbeck, João Pedro, and even Rutter in the pecking order at the club. Of course, he's just 20 years old and he still has his whole career ahead of him. But if Brighton completely give up on him, he might just be done, because I mean, if you can't make it at Brighton, can you really make it anywhere else? Anyway, are there more under 25 players who already look like they're finished? Drop their names in the comments. Also, which of these players we've talked about in this video do you think can still turn their careers around and go on to be top players? Tell us in the comments.